You want me tonight? You want me anytime? That's fine.
Jon Moxley just set the wrestling world on fire with an explosive response on Twitter that confirms his imminent return to WWE, sending shockwaves through both WWE and AEW. Known for his unpredictable nature and relentless intensity, Moxley's latest message wasn't just a tease. It was a bold declaration that he's stepping back into the WWE ring, and AEW should be on high alert. His cryptic yet powerful tweet signals a dramatic shift in the wrestling landscape, promising chaos, confrontation, and a clash of titans between the two promotions. Fans and insiders alike are buzzing, knowing that when Moxley returns, he won't just play the game, he'll rewrite the rules. The countdown to one of wrestling's most explosive comebacks has officially begun. The trigger. Heyman's cold, cutting tweet. It all ignited in the aftermath of WrestleMania, an event already drenched in shocking betrayals and seismic power shifts. Paul Heyman, never one to mince words or hide his intentions, took to Twitter after Roman Reigns' brutal dethroning. His message was sharp and chilling, a simple statement that echoed like a gunshot in the night. "We pumped out a rebel and dethroned a tribal chief." To casual observers, it seemed like just another smug gloat from WWE's wise man, the architect of the Bloodline's dominance. But to Jon Moxley, those words were a provocation, a deeply personal insult aimed at everything he once stood for, every sacrifice he made, and every transformation he endured. What followed was not a polished wrestling promo or a staged storyline. It was something darker, more visceral, and shockingly real. The raw response, Moxley's haunting video. Within hours, a video surfaced, spreading like wildfire across wrestling forums, Twitter feeds, and Reddit threads. The setting was stark and haunting, a shadowy, dimly lit room with cold concrete walls reminiscent of a grim gym. Heavy iron weights lay scattered in the background, dust particles floating in the stale air. No music, no roaring crowd, just the unsettling hum of flickering fluorescent lights overhead and the relentless sound of leather striking flesh. Moxley stood alone in the frame. His face bore fresh bruises and scratches, knuckles taped and bloodied, beads of sweat dripping from his rugged jawline, glistening like liquid iron. His eyes locked onto the camera with a fierce, burning intensity, the kind of stare that could freeze fire in its tracks. Slowly, deliberately, he lifted a cracked smartphone towards the lens. The blood-stained vest, a symbol of war. Moxley's voice echoed in the empty room as the camera panned slowly to the back wall. Hanging there, nailed like a grim trophy, was a tattered black vest, the iconic Shield vest, but this was no mere replica or merchandise prop. This was the very vest Moxley wore during the final war-torn days of the Shield's legendary run. The fabric was shredded, stained with dried blood that told a story of battles fought in the unforgiving trenches of WWE's harshest wars. The vest hung like a relic of war, a silent testament to loyalty, betrayal, and sacrifice. Moxley's gaze flickered back to the camera, a faint, angry smile creeping across his lips. "The only thing you dethroned, Paul," he whispered, "was your own damn common sense." The screen faded to black, but the darkness was broken by an eerie, reversed version of the Shield's iconic entrance theme. A declaration beyond promo. Personal and dangerous. This wasn't just hype. It wasn't a marketing stunt designed to sell tickets or streaming subscriptions. This was personal. For the first time in years, Jon Moxley had pierced the veil of scripted wrestling to expose raw, unfiltered emotion. He put the entire industry on notice, WWE, AEW, and everyone in between. No one was safe. What makes this eruption even more volatile is the unique position Moxley occupies in the wrestling ecosystem. Unlike most stars locked into exclusive ironclad contracts, Moxley's AEW deal contains a rare clause, one that permits him to make appearances outside AEW under specific conditions. This isn't just a contractual loophole, It's a ticking time bomb. He doesn't have to jump ship. The wild card, Moxley's unpredictable path. Behind the scenes, AEW officials are tense, acutely aware of a unique clause tucked deep within Jon Moxley's contract, one that has sent ripples of unease through the wrestling world. Tony Khan, AEW's visionary leader, has long regarded Moxley as a foundational pillar of his promotion, a man who injected gritty realism and raw legitimacy into AEW's earliest days. Yet, beneath that trust lies a truth no one can ignore. Moxley is a lone wolf, an untamed force of nature. He is not driven by championship gold or legacy building. Instead, he's fueled by a blazing fury, an insatiable hunger for vengeance, and a relentless determination to settle scores on his own unforgiving terms. This brewing conflict with Paul Heyman isn't just another storyline scripted for weekly television. It cuts deeply, down to the very bones of wrestling history. The scars left by the Shield's birth and brutal breakup linger like open wounds. The bitter backstage politics, the broken friendships, and the whispered betrayals that fractured one of wrestling's most legendary brotherhoods are all part of this war. Moxley remembers every slight, every whispered conspiracy, every broken promise that led to his bitter exit from WWE. Roman Reigns' bloodline. Shaken inside WWE, the atmosphere is thick with tension and uncertainty. Roman Reigns, recently dethroned and publicly humiliated alongside a fractured bloodline, wasted no time. The moment Moxley's chilling video went viral, Reigns called an emergency meeting with his inner circle. The gathering took place in a shadowed private location, the mood heavy and ominous. Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and Paul Heyman were all there, each man silently digesting the dangerous implications of Moxley's message. The room was charged with unspoken dread. No one dared break the heavy silence. The playful Dean Ambrose of yesteryear, the guy who'd swing hot dog carts and crack jokes, was gone. Standing in his place was Jon Moxley, a battle-scarred veteran who had survived brutal death matches, bled for AEW, and clawed his way through personal demons and darkness. This was a man reborn through chaos and pain, now staring down WWE with a cold grin promising destruction. Speculation runs wild. What's next for Moxley? The wrestling world buzzes with frantic speculation. Fans and insiders alike are asking, what will Jon Moxley do next? Will he storm a WWE show unannounced, dropping jaws and rattling the locker room? Could SummerSlam be the stage for a shocking invasion? Might he interrupt a Bloodline promo on live TV, dragging that shredded blood-stained Shield vest behind him as a grim banner of war? The possibilities are endless and terrifying. Inside AEW, the locker room is divided between fear and excitement. Some fear that Moxley's simmering rage will ignite a wildfire that could consume both promotions, dragging everyone into a brutal crossfire. Others see this as a spark that could fuel a new era of boundary-pushing, no-holds-barred wrestling that defies conventions. One thing is certain, the landscape of professional wrestling will never be the same. Revenge, betrayal, and unfinished business. This is far more than a promo designed to sell pay-per-view buys or increase streaming numbers. This is a deeply personal mission, one driven by revenge, betrayal, and years of unfinished business. Paul Heyman may have believed he had executed the ultimate masterstroke by orchestrating Roman Reigns' downfall, playing his pieces expertly to topple the tribal chief. But in doing so, he underestimated one critical element. Jon Moxley. Moxley knows Heyman's playbook better than anyone else because he was there when the Shield was born and watched it crumble from the inside. Now, from the sidelines, as the bloodline fractures and falls, Moxley sees a rare opportunity, a chance to finish what was started and rewrite the narrative on his terms. Behind closed doors, WWE's emergency meeting insiders confirmed that shortly after the video leaked, Roman Reigns acted swiftly, summoning the remnants of his bloodline to a clandestine meeting. Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and Heyman gathered in a secret location, their faces etched with worry. Reports describe an atmosphere thick with tension and dread, the kind of silence that speaks volumes. They all know the harsh truth. Jon Moxley isn't a man who makes idle threats. Every word he utters carries weight because it's backed by a lifetime of blood, sweat, and pain. The wrestling world watches and waits, knowing that the calm before the storm is fading fast. The contract clause. A game changer. What makes this situation all the more perilous is a rarely discussed clause hidden deep within Moxley's AEW contract. Multiple backstage sources have verified its existence, a contractual loophole that permits Moxley to make limited appearances outside AEW under very specific conditions. This means WWE can't legally block him. AEW can't stop him if he chooses to cross that forbidden threshold. He holds the key to walking freely between two worlds, a wild card in the truest sense. With CM Punk humiliated at WrestleMania and Roman Reigns dethroned, Moxley made a pointed decision to name both men in his message. This isn't a vague threat. It's a clear signal that these figures are now targets. What Heyman thought was a victory has unwittingly exposed every piece on the board, awakening a sleeping giant ready to unleash chaos.